Guarding your vision is one of the most vital disciplines anyone striving toward success must learn to practice. When you first conceive an idea, when that spark of imagination lights up in your mind, it is fragile. Like a seed planted in the soil, it is not yet a tree with strong roots. It is delicate, tender, and easily destroyed. If you speak too quickly about what you are planning to achieve, you expose this seed to forces it may not yet be strong enough to withstand. A careless word from someone who does not understand your vision, a laugh from someone who cannot see your potential, or even a subtle expression of doubt can act like frost on a young plant. The vision shrinks, loses its energy, and you may even begin to doubt yourself simply because you allowed your seed of ambition to be exposed before it had a chance to develop strength. Guarding your vision means holding it close to your heart, nurturing it in silence, and allowing it to gain strength before you allow the outside world to influence it. Every dreamer encounters skeptics, often among the people closest to them. Friends, family members, and colleagues may not intentionally wish you harm, but they can only see the world through the lens of their own experiences and limitations. When you share your ideas too soon, you invite their limitations into your own imagination. They may tell you that your idea is impossible, that you are not ready, or that it has never been done before. If you are not yet rooted in belief, their words can infiltrate your mind like weeds in a garden, stealing nourishment from the seed of your dream. Guarding your vision is about protecting it from the environment until it is strong enough to grow despite resistance. It is the discipline of choosing silence until your success is undeniable, because by then, the proof of your results will silence every doubt without you saying a word. There is also a psychological reason why silence is powerful in the early stages of any endeavor. When you tell others about your plans, your mind may interpret their approval as if you have already accomplished something. The applause you seek by announcing your vision too soon becomes a counterfeit reward, giving you the illusion of progress without the actual work being done. That premature sense of satisfaction can weaken your drive. Instead of channeling your energy into consistent effort, you bask in the approval of others, and in doing so, your determination to take action fades. Guarding your vision ensures that you reserve your energy for building, not for boasting. By keeping silent, you create an internal reservoir of motivation that pushes you forward because you are not distracted by external validation. Another aspect of guarding your vision is the recognition that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Your dreams are sacred, and not every ear is qualified to hear them. When you share something precious with people who do not value it, you cheapen it. Just as you would not hand a priceless gem to someone who cannot recognize its worth, you should not hand your vision to those who are incapable of nurturing it. There is wisdom in choosing when, how, and to whom you reveal your goals. Silence does not mean secrecy born of fear. It means wisdom born of understanding that not every audience is worthy of the performance. When the time is right and your vision has matured, it will reveal itself through your achievements, and those who once doubted will be forced to acknowledge its reality. Guarding your vision also allows you to focus. When you keep your goals private, you reduce the number of distractions pulling at your attention. Announcing your plans to others often creates expectations, questions, and unsolicited advice that consume your time and mental energy. You may find yourself explaining, defending, or justifying your decisions to people who have no stake in your journey. Every moment spent in debate is a moment lost in action. Silence eliminates this drain. Instead of scattering your energy outward, you conserve it inward, directing it toward the steps necessary to transform your vision into reality. The energy that others waste in conversation becomes fuel for your progress, and over time, this accumulated focus becomes an unstoppable force. There is a deeper, spiritual principle at work here as well. When you guard your vision, you give yourself space to listen to the whispers of intuition, to the inner voice that often knows the next step before your rational mind does. Sharing too soon exposes you to too many competing voices, and the subtle guidance within you can become drowned out by the noise of external opinions. Guarding your vision is a way of staying connected to that inner compass, of letting the voice of faith be louder than the voice of fear. It is the act of trusting that the vision came to you for a reason, that it was planted in your heart because you have within you the capacity to bring it into existence, even if no one else can see it yet. There are countless examples throughout history of individuals who practiced this discipline. Inventors who worked in obscurity, entrepreneurs who built quietly before revealing their products to the world, leaders who developed their philosophies in silence before they spoke publicly. Their silence was not weakness, but strength. It was the recognition that vision must be incubated, just as a bird sits silently on its egg until the life inside is ready to break free. Those who rush to expose their plans often find that their vision dies in infancy, not because it was unworthy, but because it was unprotected. Guarding your vision is therefore not about secrecy alone. It is about stewardship. It is about taking responsibility for the life of your dream until it is strong enough to stand on its own. When you guard your vision, you also build resilience. You learn to rely on your own faith, your own conviction, rather than leaning on the approval or encouragement of others. This independence is crucial because every great endeavor faces obstacles, and during those moments, external encouragement may not be available. If your strength is built on applause, you will falter when the applause stops. But if your strength is built on inner conviction, no obstacle will shake you. Silence forces you to cultivate this conviction. It compels you to become your own greatest supporter, your own source of motivation, and in doing so, it prepares you to endure the challenges that inevitably come with pursuing something extraordinary. Ultimately, guarding your vision is an act of love toward yourself and toward the dream that was entrusted to you. It is the recognition that the world will one day benefit from your achievement, but only if you protect it long enough to bring it to life. It is the discipline of patience, the wisdom of timing, and the courage to trust that your actions will one day speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. In silence, your vision gathers strength, and when it is ready, it will emerge with a power that cannot be ignored. Letting results speak is one of the most powerful ways to establish credibility, influence, and respect in the world. Words are easy to produce, promises are simple to make, and dreams are effortless to declare. Almost anyone can speak of their plans and ambitions, but only a few carry the discipline and persistence required to transform those words into tangible reality. When you allow your results to speak for you, you position yourself differently from the majority. You no longer need to convince people of your potential or argue about your worth because your achievements stand as undeniable evidence. Results carry an authority that words can never match, and this is why true leaders, visionaries, and achievers focus on action rather than constant explanation. There is a human tendency to seek validation by announcing intentions. Many people fall into the trap of telling everyone what they plan to do, expecting admiration or recognition in advance. This often backfires because repeated announcements without visible results create a reputation of unreliability. People may begin to associate such individuals with empty promises, with energy that never quite materializes into substance. On the other hand, when you discipline yourself to remain quiet, to put all your effort into building rather than boasting, you avoid the trap of being seen as a talker rather than a doer. Once the work is complete and the results are visible, your credibility is automatic. No one can deny the presence of something that exists in plain sight. A finished project, a thriving business, a transformed life. These are proofs that no argument can dismantle. Letting results speak also builds a unique kind of influence. People are naturally drawn to examples rather than theories. If you walk into a room and claim to be an expert, some will doubt you, others may challenge you, and a few may even dismiss you. But if you walk into that same room with proven results, demonstrable outcomes that validate your expertise, suddenly the conversation shifts. People listen more attentively, not because of what you said, but because of what you have accomplished. Your results act as your silent ambassadors, creating opportunities, respect, and trust without you needing to force them. This is why many of the most impactful individuals in history said little about what they were doing while they worked. But once their achievements were revealed, the world had no choice but to recognize their contributions. There is also a psychological advantage to letting results speak. When you shift your focus away from impressing others with words, you release yourself from the burden of proving anything prematurely. You no longer need to waste mental energy on how to phrase your plans, how to defend them, or how to respond to skepticism. Instead, all your energy can be directed into execution. The mind becomes sharper when freed from unnecessary debates, and progress accelerates when there is no distraction from endless discussions. Every hour spent trying to convince someone of your potential is an hour stolen from the work that could prove it. By removing that need for external validation, you create momentum that compounds into results, and eventually those results communicate everything that words once tried to explain. Another important aspect is that results create a lasting impression, while words often fade quickly. People may forget what you said last month about your plans, but they will not forget the business you launched, the invention you created, or the discipline you demonstrated over time. Actions imprint themselves in memory because they are tangible. A finished book exists long after conversations about writing it are forgotten. A degree, a piece of art, or a transformed lifestyle remains as evidence long after the speeches about change are erased from memory. When you let results speak, you create something that outlives words, something that continues to testify on your behalf, even when you are silent. This permanence is what separates achievers from talkers. There is also a deeper principle of respect embedded in this practice. People respect what they can see and verify. When you achieve something, you give others a reason to take you seriously. If you attempt to demand that respect through words alone, it often feels forced, and people may resist it. But when your results are clear, respect flows naturally without you needing to request it. This applies not only in professional life, but also in personal growth. For example, if someone talks constantly about wanting to change their habits, others may listen politely but with doubt. However, if that same person quietly makes the change and demonstrates it consistently, respect arises automatically. Results bypass the need for persuasion because they are proof in themselves. Letting results speak also guards you from the negativity that often comes when you announce your goals prematurely. When you declare your ambitions, you invite opinions. Some people may encourage you, but others may criticize or even ridicule. This external noise can shake your confidence if you are not yet firmly grounded in your vision. By keeping quiet and focusing on action, you avoid this interference. Once the results are visible, the same people who doubted may become silent, and some may even admire you. Results disarm criticism more effectively than arguments ever could. A critic can dismiss your words, but they cannot erase a result that stands before their eyes. In addition, results inspire others in ways that words rarely achieve. Motivation from hearing someone's plan may be temporary, but witnessing someone's achievement creates a deeper impact. When people see that you have actually done what many only talk about, it ignites a belief in them that such things are possible. Your results then serve not only as proof of your own capability, but as a source of hope and encouragement for others. This is why role models who quietly worked and achieved great things continue to influence generations. They proved through results that dreams could be realized. On a personal level, letting results speak also strengthens your self-belief. Each milestone you reach becomes evidence to yourself that you are capable, disciplined, and persistent. You no longer rely on external applause to validate your progress because your results become the applause. Every completed step reinforces your identity as someone who follows through, someone who does not just dream but delivers. This internal confidence is more enduring than the temporary boost of external validation, and it sustains you through future challenges. When you embrace the principle of letting results speak, you learn the art of patience and timing. You stop rushing to prove yourself with words and instead allow the process of work to unfold naturally. Results take time, but they carry a weight that instant words never can. They are the fruit of persistence, sacrifice, and discipline, and that is why they command authority. People may debate words, but they cannot debate results. And once results are visible, they tell your story better than any speech could. Protecting against jealousy and opposition is an essential principle for anyone who is serious about achieving lasting success. The reality of life is that not everyone will celebrate your progress, and not everyone will be happy to see you rise. Human nature is complex, and while some people will genuinely encourage you, others may feel threatened by your ambition. They may not show it openly at first, but jealousy is often disguised as subtle discouragement, criticism, or even attempts to derail you. Opposition can come from unexpected places: friends who feel left behind, colleagues who fear being overshadowed, or competitors who do not want to lose their position. If you reveal too much of your plan too soon, you invite these forces into your journey before you are strong enough to withstand them. Protecting your vision means being wise enough to recognize that silence is sometimes the best shield. Jealousy has been a force throughout history, often standing in the way of great achievements. When you speak too openly about your goals, you awaken that force in others who may see your ambition as a reminder of their own unfulfilled dreams. Your courage to dream big may highlight their lack of initiative, and instead of being inspired, they may feel resentment. This resentment can manifest in ways that you do not anticipate: mockery to make you doubt yourself, negative advice to weaken your resolve, or subtle sabotage that interferes with your progress. The more people know about the details of your plans, the more opportunities they have to inject negativity into them. By keeping your goals guarded, you deny jealousy the fuel it needs to grow, and you protect yourself from being influenced by the insecurities of others. Opposition, on the other hand, can be more direct. When you reveal your strategies or the steps you intend to take, you give others the chance to prepare countermeasures. In business, sharing your ideas too early can allow competitors to copy or undermine them. In personal life, speaking about your next moves can alert those who may not wish you well, giving them time to create obstacles. The truth is, not everyone is rooting for you, and some may actively prefer to see you fail. Protecting yourself against opposition requires discretion. It means working quietly, moving strategically, and revealing your progress only when it is too solid to be undone. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It is the art of protecting your energy and your plans from forces that thrive on information you could have chosen to withhold. It is also important to understand that jealousy and opposition do not always come from strangers. Sometimes they arise from those closest to you, which can make them even more dangerous. A family member who feels overshadowed, a friend who feels left behind, or a colleague who fears losing relevance may project their insecurity onto you. They may cloak it in concern, telling you that your goals are unrealistic or warning you about risks. While some of this may be genuine care, often it is jealousy in disguise. If you are not cautious, you may internalize their doubts and abandon your dream. By protecting your vision and choosing silence, you maintain control over your own mindset and prevent external negativity from planting itself in your heart. You keep your belief intact until your results are strong enough to speak louder than the voices around you. There is also a spiritual dimension to protecting against jealousy and opposition. Energy is real, and when too many people are aware of your plans, their energy, whether supportive or negative, interferes with your focus. Some people carry an energy of doubt, fear, or envy, and when you expose your vision to them, you allow that energy to mix with your own. Silence acts as a shield, preserving the purity of your belief and the clarity of your intention. Instead of having to fight off the unseen weight of others' emotions, you remain free to build with strength and confidence. This is why many wise people across cultures have advised to move in silence until success is visible. The fewer people who know, the less interference you face, and the stronger your path becomes. Protecting against jealousy and opposition also builds resilience. When you are not constantly seeking approval or validation from others, you train yourself to rely on inner conviction. This independence shields you from the ups and downs of external opinions. If you share your plans widely, you might feel elated when others praise you, but crushed when they criticize you. By keeping quiet, you reduce the emotional turbulence of outside reactions, allowing you to stay steady in your journey. You no longer ride the wave of others' approval or disapproval because you are focused solely on execution. This steadiness is a form of protection because it keeps you from being swayed by forces that do not truly understand your vision. One of the greatest benefits of guarding your goals against jealousy and opposition is that it allows you to surprise the world with your results. There is power in unveiling something that no one expected. When you achieve in silence, opposition has no chance to prepare, and jealousy has no opportunity to interfere. Instead, your success arrives as a completed fact, and by the time others realize it, it is too late for them to hinder you. This element of surprise not only protects you, but also amplifies the impact of your achievements. People respect results more when they emerge without warning because it demonstrates discipline, focus, and strength. The quiet worker who suddenly produces greatness commands more admiration than the talker who announces plans but struggles to deliver. There is also an element of dignity in protecting yourself from jealousy and opposition. You do not waste your time arguing with critics or defending yourself against doubters. You rise above it by choosing silence and action over debate and justification. In doing so, you conserve your energy for what truly matters: building, creating, and achieving. Every moment spent trying to convince someone who does not believe in you is a moment stolen from your work. Silence frees you from this trap, allowing your success itself to serve as the final word. Jealousy fades in the face of undeniable results, and opposition weakens when there is nothing left to attack but proof. Protecting your vision is also about creating an environment of peace around your journey. Constantly speaking about your goals invites attention, and attention brings scrutiny. When too many eyes are on you, pressure builds and mistakes are magnified. But when you move quietly, you give yourself the freedom to grow, to experiment, and even to fail privately without interference. This private growth strengthens you, and when you eventually succeed, people only see the polished result, not the struggles behind it. This is one of the greatest protections against opposition. It denies them access to your vulnerable stages and only presents them with the strength of your finished work. In the end, jealousy and opposition are inevitable forces in life, but how you handle them determines whether they harm you or strengthen you. By guarding your vision, speaking less, and focusing on results, you minimize their power over you. You recognize that not every listener is a supporter, and not every observer is a friend. Silence becomes your shield, and patience becomes your weapon. In this way, you protect your dreams from being crushed before they are born, and you ensure that when the time comes, your achievements stand firm, unshaken by the envy or resistance of others. Preserving inner power begins with the recognition that every word spoken about your vision releases energy. When you speak too much about what you intend to do, you allow some of that energy to escape before it has been transformed into action. Talking gives a sense of relief, a momentary satisfaction, as if progress has been made simply by announcing the intention. Yet this is an illusion. The power that should be fueling your determination to act is weakened by the release of words. What could have been stored as inner strength, focused like a laser on execution, is dissipated into conversation. By choosing silence, you keep that power intact. You store the energy within, where it grows and builds, creating a reservoir of determination that drives you toward actual achievement. Preserving inner power is about refusing to waste strength on talk and instead channeling it into doing. There is a psychological phenomenon where the mind often mistakes words for deeds. When a person declares their plan to others, the brain registers a partial sense of accomplishment. The applause or encouragement received gives a feeling of having achieved something, even though no real progress has been made. This sense of false completion can be dangerous. It reduces urgency, making it less likely that the person will put in the hard, uncomfortable work required to succeed. Silence prevents this trap. When no one knows your intentions, there is no applause to deceive you, no premature satisfaction to trick you into slowing down. The only reward available is the real progress you make, and this keeps your drive alive. Preserving inner power means resisting the temptation to gain emotional rewards through words and instead reserving them for the fulfillment that comes only from real results. When you hold your plans inside, you create an environment where focus sharpens. Inner power thrives in concentration, and every time you share your goals, you invite distractions. Others may offer opinions, advice, or judgments that pull your attention in different directions. Some of this advice may be useful, but much of it is noise that dilutes your clarity. By preserving your power, you prevent your vision from being pulled apart by too many perspectives. You stay rooted in your own conviction, and that conviction grows stronger with time. A dream guarded within is like a fire in a closed space. It burns hotter, brighter, and more intensely because the energy is contained. This inner fire becomes the force that sustains you when challenges arise. It is not scattered across conversations. It is concentrated within your heart, where it belongs. Another aspect of preserving inner power is maintaining control over your own emotions. Speaking too soon often exposes you to criticism or doubt, and if you are not prepared, this can drain your confidence. Once drained, it is difficult to recover the same level of energy you once had. Silence acts as protection against these leaks. It ensures that your emotional reserves are not spent defending your ideas to others, debating with skeptics, or explaining yourself endlessly. Every explanation you give costs energy, and energy is the currency of achievement. When you stop explaining and start acting, you conserve that currency for the things that truly matter. Preserving inner power is the art of guarding not only your words, but also your emotional strength, ensuring that nothing weakens your drive. Inner power is also tied to discipline. Those who talk excessively about their goals often confuse intention with discipline. Intention is important, but without discipline, it dissolves into nothing. Silence enforces discipline because it forces you to measure progress not by what you say, but by what you do. You learn to hold yourself accountable, not to the applause of others, but to your own standards. This accountability strengthens character. You no longer rely on external validation. You rely on internal proof. Each day becomes a test of whether you are truly aligned with your dream, and every action becomes evidence of your commitment. Preserving inner power is thus also preserving discipline, the kind of discipline that endures beyond moods, opinions, and circumstances. There is also strength in mystery. When you do not reveal your plans, you maintain an aura of unpredictability. Others cannot anticipate your moves, and this gives you a strategic advantage. Preserving inner power is not just about energy, it is also about control. Control over what others know, control over how much influence they can exert, and control over your timeline. You are no longer pressured by outside expectations or artificial deadlines created by your announcements. You move at your own pace, guided by your own rhythm, unbothered by the impatience or doubts of others. This freedom allows you to work with clarity without fear of being judged before you are ready. On a deeper level, preserving inner power is about self-respect. When you talk too much about what you will do and fail to deliver, you weaken your own trust in yourself. Each unfulfilled word chips away at your self-belief, and over time, this erosion can be devastating. But when you stay quiet and let your actions speak, you strengthen your relationship with yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone whose word, even when unspoken, is sacred. This self-respect builds confidence, and confidence fuels more action. The cycle becomes one of empowerment rather than depletion. Preserving inner power means valuing yourself enough to protect your dreams until they are real. Silence also cultivates patience. In a world obsessed with quick validation and instant gratification, holding back from announcing your goals requires strength. That strength is a form of inner power in itself. It teaches you to delay recognition, to wait until your work is complete before seeking acknowledgement. This patience is a critical skill in success because great achievements take time. The ability to endure quietly, to keep building when no one is watching, separates those who succeed from those who fade away. By preserving inner power, you learn to thrive in this quiet space, and when your results finally emerge, They carry the weight of patience and persistence behind them. Inner power is also spiritual. It is the alignment of your will with the deeper part of yourself that knows your purpose. When you talk too much about your vision, you weaken this alignment by allowing external forces to interfere. Preserving inner power means keeping that connection pure. It means listening to the inner voice, trusting it more than the noise of the world, and protecting the sacred energy of your dream. This alignment gives you strength beyond logic, a kind of invisible force that pushes you forward when everything else seems against you. Many call it faith, others call it intuition. But whatever the name, it thrives in silence. By not scattering your energy in words, you give space for this inner guidance to grow louder and clearer. When challenges inevitably arise, it is inner power that determines whether you endure. Plans rarely unfold exactly as expected. There are setbacks, delays, and obstacles that test your resolve. Those who have wasted their strength on talk often crumble under pressure because they have little energy left to fight. Those who have preserved their inner power face challenges with resilience. They have a storehouse of determination that was never leaked into conversations, and they draw from it when the journey becomes difficult. This is why silence and inner power are inseparable from success. The more you preserve, the more strength you have to overcome, and the greater your capacity to continue when others would quit. Building mystery and influence begins with understanding the psychology of human curiosity. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully understand, to what is not immediately revealed. When everything about a person is explained and displayed openly, there is little left to wonder about, and their presence loses some of its impact. But when someone withholds details about their actions, ambitions, and methods, they create an aura that draws attention. Others begin to speculate, to imagine, and to fill in the gaps with their own thoughts. This curiosity builds intrigue, and intrigue is a form of influence. Mystery holds power because it compels people to watch more closely, to listen more carefully, and to pay greater attention. By not telling people everything you do, you maintain an element of unpredictability that keeps you interesting and respected. In a world where most people overshare their lives, mystery has become rare. Social media has created a culture of constant broadcasting where achievements, struggles, and even daily routines are exposed. While this may bring temporary attention, it often reduces long-term influence. When people know too much about your every move, they begin to take you for granted, to assume they have figured you out. The sense of uniqueness diminishes, and with it, respect. Those who choose silence and discretion, however, stand out. Their restraint sets them apart from the noise. They cultivate an image of someone who is focused, someone who moves deliberately, and someone whose actions matter more than words. This quiet confidence is magnetic because people instinctively sense that there is more beneath the surface than is being revealed. Mystery also creates a buffer between you and the judgments of others. When you reveal little, you give others less material to criticize, mock, or oppose. Influence grows not by exposing everything, but by revealing only what is necessary when it is necessary. This selective disclosure ensures that when you do speak or act, people take notice because it is rare and meaningful. Words and actions gain weight when they are not constant. By contrast, when someone shares endlessly, their words lose impact. The silence between your actions becomes part of your power because it gives others space to anticipate what you will do next. This anticipation builds influence without you lifting a finger. Another reason mystery strengthens influence is that it forces people to focus on your results rather than your process. When you do not constantly announce what you are working on, no one knows until the results are visible. At that moment, the impact is far greater because it arrives unexpectedly. Instead of being judged prematurely, your work is presented in its final, polished form, leaving no room for doubt about your capability. This sudden revelation commands respect and admiration because people recognize the discipline required to work quietly and deliver without needing constant validation. The very act of unveiling results without prior announcements is itself a demonstration of strength, and this strength amplifies your influence. Mystery also positions you as someone who cannot easily be predicted or controlled. Predictability is comfortable, but it diminishes respect. When people feel they know exactly what you will say or do, they stop paying attention. But when your actions are less obvious, they must stay alert, unsure of your next move. This uncertainty gives you leverage. It shifts the balance of power because you are not reacting to others. Instead, they are reacting to you. Leaders throughout history have understood this principle. By keeping some aspects of their intentions hidden, they maintained influence over allies and opponents alike. No one could fully anticipate their moves, and this unpredictability gave them a lasting advantage. There is also a subtle psychological effect on those who maintain mystery. By choosing not to share every detail, you reinforce self-control. This restraint builds an inner strength that radiates outward. Others sense it, even if unconsciously, and it creates respect. People admire those who do not need to seek validation constantly, who can hold their vision within and move confidently toward it without broadcasting it. This independence signals that your power comes from within, not from the opinions of others. That alone makes your presence more commanding. Influence does not always come from the loudest voice in the room. Often it comes from the quietest one, whose silence forces others to lean in closer. Mystery also plays a role in relationships. Whether in professional or personal life, when you reveal everything too quickly, connections often lose depth. Part of what keeps relationships strong is the gradual unveiling of who you are. When you hold back, you allow others to discover you piece by piece. And this slow discovery keeps their interest alive. It builds respect because they sense that your story is layered, that you cannot be fully known in an instant. People who maintain mystery often have longer, lasting influence because they are never fully predictable and thus never boring. Their presence carries freshness, as if there is always more to learn, always another dimension waiting to be revealed. There is also a protective quality to mystery. By not exposing all of your goals, struggles, and methods, you protect yourself from unnecessary attacks. Opposition is weaker when it does not know where to strike. Jealousy has less fuel when it cannot see what you are building. Mystery shields you from interference because it keeps others guessing. Influence grows when others realize they cannot penetrate your inner world easily. You become someone who is not easily shaken or manipulated, and this composure commands respect. People instinctively admire those who appear untouchable, and mystery is one of the strongest ways to create this perception. Mystery must not be confused with secrecy born of fear. True mystery is deliberate. It is not about hiding because of insecurity, but about withholding because of strategy. It is about knowing that timing matters, that silence can be more powerful than speaking, and that influence is not built by revealing everything, but by controlling what is revealed. This control over your own narrative is what builds authority. It ensures that when you do share, it is intentional and impactful, not accidental or careless. By practicing this kind of mystery, you establish yourself as someone who moves with wisdom, someone who cannot be easily read or dismissed. At its core, building mystery and influence is about balance. Too much silence without results creates obscurity, but silence combined with achievement creates respect. Too much exposure without discretion creates vulnerability, but selective revelation creates strength. Influence grows strongest when people feel they must watch you closely because they never quite know what to expect. In this way, mystery becomes a magnet, pulling others toward you, holding their attention and amplifying the impact of everything you do. By refusing to tell people all that you do, you transform silence into a tool of power, and that power becomes influence that extends far beyond words.